Welcome back to Workers and Resources Soviet Republic. In the previous video, we founded this city on an isthmus which has a name that I probably shouldn't try to pronounce. And I say that because I spent most of the previous video mispronouncing the names of literally every advisor that I was introduced to. This is Mikolai. Greetings, comrade. I'm Corelli. Next, we meet Federer. And greetings, comrade. I am Stalinslav. You might not believe me, but I was actually trying to get these names right. I'm just that bad. In this video, we'll continue to build out our city. We'll teach our citizens how to make clothes, found the finest Soviet university, and expand our town. We'll even go off script a bit and experiment with trams. And of course, we'll be doing all of this from the perspective of an American city planner. So we'll see how this goes. And if you're excited to continue expanding our Soviet Republic, hit the like button. And if you have a fever that can only be broken by transporting things around, hit the like button for that too, and let me know how you feel down in the comments. Or just leave the most Soviet emoji for the sake of engagement. Without any further ado, let's jump right in. Welcome back to Dubasalia, our beautiful little Soviet city on an isthmus that we began in the previous episode. We built a little bit of everything here. We've got a farming industry, some residential, a future city services complex where you can grab a drink and watch a movie, and even a couple of factories where we are brewing vodka and producing food. So in this episode, we are going to go through our objectives and continue down our tech tree. Where we left off is we had started to progress down the basics of agriculture, and we can now pursue the clothing industry if we want. We can also pursue the Soviet university or mining. Now, I'm inclined to go after our clothing industry first. Seems like the wise thing to do. Feed your citizens and then give them clothing. And after that, we can educate them or mine. So let's begin here. And we will meet Dunya, who says, "Greetings, comrade. I'm Dunya, the textile production supervisor in the Soviet Republic. I'll be your guide in the industrialization of clothing production, where efficiency and precision lead the way to outfitting our people in style and comfort. The fabric factory is where crops and chemicals are processed into high-quality fabrics, providing the essential materials for clothing our citizens in the Soviet Republic." So we have to build a fabric factory, and we are going to need to bring our crops to that factory. I'm not 100% sure what the chemicals are just yet. I'm sure we'll learn about those momentarily. Now, I made a really bad mistake in the previous episode, and many of you called it out in the comments. Basically, I said that I wanted to keep our factories away from our citizens, and here we are with a factory right next to our citizens. So what I think we're going to do is attempt to call a bit of a mulligan, or maybe not a mulligan, but we're not going to double down on the mistake that we made. We're going to respect the topography and send the road out this way. So I guess we'll get rid of this chunk of road, send it out this way, and build our factories over here. Now, the thing about this is if we do it wrong, we will end up needing to grade a whole bunch. So I want to try to avoid that as best we can. And we'll do something like that, and I inadvertently used the wrong road, but I'm not going to worry about it because we are going to be building some transit as well. That's something that I just really want to experiment with, and I think that this is going to be probably a good spot to put maybe our tram depot as well. So we'll need to upgrade this road down the line. Okay, so we've got to build our fabric factory, which is under miscellaneous clothing and then fabric factory. Couple of things about this. I know from the previous episode that all of those black road looking things with the arrows, those are connections where we can connect things like warehouses and additional factories. So I want to make sure that we don't block those if at all possible. And then we have to have our road connection. So I think we could do something like this. And I'm going to pull this back so we can have a nice path right in front of this. I didn't leave space here, or not very much. So I just want to make sure I don't double down on that mistake. And then before this gets built, I'm going to pause it momentarily, and we'll just add in some of this pedestrian infrastructure. There we go. The clothing factory turns fabric into stylish garments, providing our citizens with comfortable clothing. Consider building the clothing factory near the fabric factory and connecting them with a factory connection. With this setup, the produced fabrics can flow directly from the fabric factory to the clothing factory, ensuring a smoother workflow. You could even place a warehouse between the factories. Oh my goodness. So we could take a warehouse, put it in between our fabric factory and our clothing factory, and store things in each, I'm guessing. And apparently if we have too many of these warehouses in between, nothing will function. You can't connect two warehouses together. So now they're telling us to build the clothing factory, but they just told us the joy of warehousing. So I think we need to figure out where that is. And it looks like under general cargo, we have warehouse, and we can build a warehouse for 14,000 rubles, which we are going to do. And you can see what they were talking about. So we've got these factory connections. That's what those little black roads with the arrows are. So those are what we want to connect. Now this is interesting. We've got our road in the back along with a train connection. So I know we're not thinking trains right now, but it almost seems like we should have this back here, because if I were to try to do something like this, you end up with the train connection. Oh, I guess there is one in the back as well. It just seems awkward. It just seems wrong. I think we'll connect it this way, and then we'll try to put our fabric factory to the right of this. And interestingly, there are also no pedestrian connections to our warehouse. So here's our clothing factory. And now that we've built our factory, excellent work, comrade. Our next objective is clear. Produce a specific amount of clothing in our clothing factory. With the efficiency of industrialization on our side, let us strive to meet this goal and ensure our citizens are well clothed. Your dedication to the mission will be a testament to the progress of the Soviet Republic. Let's get to work to achieve this milestone together. So we're not done though, because we never actually built a road to our warehouse, nor do we have any sidewalks going to this factory. So I have a feeling we're going to have a problem. Also, if we notice, this actually dips down. So I don't want this road to drop down. We're going to need to try the leveling terrain tools. First one says level terrain average. This one says level terrain height from center. And this one is smoothing terrain. I think this is the one that we want. And I'll just grab the center of the factory here and pull this over. And that should be about the right height there. And that looks pretty good. Quick pedestrian connection. And oh my goodness, the thing I talked about earlier, wanting to get the pedestrian connections in front of the buildings, I made it impossible here, which is kind of hilarious, truthfully. We won't worry about it. We'll just send that through there and it'll be just fine. Okay, so now we've got to produce 20 tons of clothing and 25 tons of fabric. So I think we're going to need to do a little bit of work here at our fabric factory. We need crops and chemicals. Now, I'm guessing we can import both of these if we want to, just by going and purchasing with rubles. We'll do that for chemicals, because I don't really know how we get these otherwise. And this will auto purchase up to the 5.91 chemicals. So good to go there. But for crops, I absolutely do not want to be doing that. So we are going to go to our road vehicle depot, buy a new vehicle, and we'll get a covered hull. And I just want to make sure that we have enough capacity on this thing going back and forth between our farm and our factory. But first, before we do that, let's make sure that we actually have excess crops here. We do. We have 38 tons of crops here. So I think we're going to go for a relatively large vehicle. And this one can move 5.4 tons of crops at 38 miles per hour. This one can move 10 tons of crops. It's a bit more expensive. I think we're going to go for this one. We'll be really efficient with it. And then we just have to set up a route for this. Stop 1, we'll load up on our crops. Stop 2, we will unload 100% of our crops. And then all we have to do is start this route and our new vehicle will be deployed. Perfect. Now, while I'm thinking about it, I also want to set up a route that will let us take the clothing from our clothing factory. We'll sell it at the store, and then we will also need to export the rest of it. So I'm going to buy another vehicle right away. And now I'm having a little bit of regret. I almost feel like we should have had a smaller, cheaper vehicle going back and forth between our farm and our factory and use this heavier, larger vehicle to export to the region. So I'm going to try to do that. So I'm going to grab this, we'll place this here, and then I'm going to grab this vehicle and I just sent it back to the depot. So I'm hoping that now that this is back here, I can delete the 2 stops. And we'll take this larger vehicle and use that for regional exports. So now we can grab this smaller vehicle. We'll create that same route back and forth from the factory or from the farm to the factory, loading crops, unloading crops, and we'll start that route. And then let's grab our larger vehicle. First stop at the factory. We want to make sure that we're only grabbing clothing, load 100% of it. And then I want to go over here. Stop 2 is going to be at our shop, our shopping center. We're going to unload clothing, but I only want to unload half of it. And then I want one more stop, and that's going to be way over here at our customs house. And at this one, we'll unload everything. whatever's left. And now we'll start that route. Now, I don't think we have any clothing being produced right now, so it's not a huge deal that this is running. It's just going to kind of ping back and forth. And I don't believe that at this stage in the game, we have much to worry about in terms of fuel. I don't think it's actually a mechanic that's turned on. So this thing going back and forth shouldn't matter for us. Now, I'm very curious. We'll just see what's happening here. We're not doing great in terms of production. And part of this is we just don't have a lot of workers here. But we have a really high unemployment rate. So I think I mentioned transit earlier. This is where I think transit could come in handy for us. So I know that buses are probably the smart way to approach things, but that's not as fun as trams. So we are going to have trams. And I know in an ideal world, I think that we would just have a tram line going straight through the center of the community, kind of pinging back and forth. But I've experimented with trams a little bit in the past, and I've not been able to figure out how to get them to turn around at a stop. So we're going to have a looping system. We'll need to build out some of the roadway network through here first. And I think one of the things that we're going to do is you can kind of see that we've got this route here where this truck is coming all the way around. I'm going to add a road through here and then build out this neighborhood here, and then we'll loop our tram around. So we're going to be doing a couple of things that are going to benefit us in a couple of different ways. So first and foremost, like I mentioned, we're going to build this road right here. And this road will specifically benefit this factory. Hopefully, this vehicle right here will turn down here. It does. So that will shorten up that trip. So even though we have the lower capacity vehicle, it will speed that up. This road will get tram tracks, and we'll send it down this way. And then we'll purchase 2 trams and have a looping route. So there we go. So now we need to begin by building a tram depot. You can see we're kind of going uphill here. So even though I want to keep this away from our homes, this is probably not the most appropriate location. So I'll send a road down this way, and we'll connect this up here. And then underneath roads and vehicles, we have our depots. So for the tram depot, there's a couple of different options for us. We have the 4 and the 8 tram depot. This is going to be a really small system, so I think we'll just go with the 4 tram depot. And I am going to respect roadway hierarchy this time. And rather than placing this directly on this road, we'll rotate the building like this. And we'll do something like that. And the benefit of this is that now we have a little bit of queuing distance if this arterial were to get busy. Now we are going to need to upgrade this road, and it's as simple as going into the roads and selecting the roads with tram tracks. And then I just think we have to go over the top of all of our existing roads, just like that, easy as pie. And now we need to figure out where we stop. The first stop, I think, should probably be around this factory. I noticed that we don't have very many employees here. We've got 4, yet we still have that high unemployment rate. So I'm going to delete a bit of road right here. And this is all I've been able to figure out. I don't think that I can just go over the top with these stops, which I wish that I could. I've actually got to delete the existing stop or the existing road. And then after that, I can place the stop where the road was. But if I'm not careful, it gets pretty jank. And there we go. And the funny thing is, look at this. There are already people here. Where are you going? We haven't even purchased the tram yet, and there's only 1 stop. Where do you think you're going? Just going to hang out there? Fair enough. You do you. Whatever's going to make you happy. For our next stop, I think that we'd want something closer to our square. So maybe right here. And then I want another one in this general area. For our Soviet university, I think that we're going to maintain a bunch of space right here and build that whole university complex. So having a stop in this general area would make a ton of sense. Maybe even by our soccer complex. So knowing that we can't really work around angles all that well, I'm going to get rid of this. And there we go. Although I'm going to probably go down the rabbit hole for a moment here. I'd not like the way that this looks. And I think it's not very space efficient. While we're over here, let's call a little bit of a mulligan and see if we can improve this at all. Now, I know that there is someone who loves min-maxing this game out there that is currently looking at what I just did, and they're shaking their head, and for that, I am deeply sorry. This is something that I just love so much about this game, the ability to be able to redo all these pads and make them look so cool. This is what I want to do all day in this game. It's just redo pads and make them look even cooler than they looked before. We're going to do a little bit more. We got to keep doing a little bit more. That just looks so much better. That is outstanding. I know, trams. We are working on trams. I don't think that we actually need a tram stop over here necessarily, but I might add one. This is probably a good happy medium spot. I'm going to put it right here. And there we go. That is everything that we need to get this tram route running, short of the tram track in the road. So let's get all of these connections made. Okay, there are all of our tram tracks. So now all we have to do is purchase a tram or two. Now I think that we're gonna have counterclockwise and clockwise service in this loop. So I will purchase 2 vehicles right away. And I'm inclined, I don't even know what this one carries, 90 passengers, 27 miles per hour. 72, 83. I'm going to go for the cheap one that's slow because we'll have bidirectional service. It means that our frequency will be doubled, and I'm not overly concerned about they can get off at any of the stops and really get anywhere because of all the pedestrian connections that we have. That's the real joy of having all those pedestrian connections. So for this one, we will make this our clockwise loop, and we'll begin right here. Oh, I put this in the wrong spot. Okay, we will need to fix this. You can't exactly have a circular pattern here. We'll fix that though. Easy peasy, and they can still walk to work just fine. So we grab this first stop here. This will go clockwise. So I'll start here. Actually, maybe it makes sense to start here. And then we'll just work our way around. And there's our 4 stops. You can get in or get out. And then we will start the route. And then we've got one more vehicle here. This will be our counterclockwise route. And I just want to make sure that these are passing each other and not going in the wrong direction. I think I got it right, but you just never know. Always check your work, or at least I always try to. So here is our first route. Here's our second one. And as long as it's going this way, we are doing well. So the whole reason I cared about this is I just wanted to be able to get people over to this factory. And I'm noticing, I'm not sure if this happened while we started this or not. We have very low unemployment now, which makes me think that even though we've got excellent transit service and we can, beef up our density down here and really get even more people into the community and working at our factories, it's not going to matter because we don't have the population to support it. So we've got to build out at least one new neighborhood. But before we do that, there's some ugliness here that we've got to rectify. Nothing that a few thousand rubles can't solve, so we're good there. So I have a feeling that once we get these new homes built, all of that clothing that we need is going to be resolved in short order. What I think I want to do, you see, there's this land right here that is kind of quite a bit lower. And we've been having lots of fun with grading. So I kind of want to keep the fun up and just spread this out even further. So I'm going to grab my grading tool, make it massive, and do something entirely unrealistic and just kind of grab this, and we're going to pull this out. And I think we'll have our new neighborhood over here. And the reason I want to put it over here as opposed to over in this area, we might build an apartment or two over here, but I've talked about the Soviet University, and just knowing that we have that coming, I want to make sure that we've got plenty of living space over here. The other thing I'm noticing, I terminated this apartment into this road, or the roads terminate into the apartment. I don't think that's actually connected to anything. Yeah, oh, That's a mistake. We're going to get rid of this building and replace it. So that's going to make our 1% unemployment even worse. But I don't think we can get rid of this until we have housing to replace it with. So again, just lots of pre-grading, smoothing, really spending just all of the money. I'm spending a whole building's worth of money on smoothing alone. And now, even though this is where the road will eventually meet up, and I'm going to start adding sidewalks to more of our roads, so that's why we're adding that here. Should be able to link these up if I get the angle right. Oh my goodness. The road building tools in this game are just really outstanding. Really a pleasure to use. Okay, so I think I want to mirror what we've done right here over a little bit, and then maybe even get some higher quality housing over here for some of our university professors. So I will use the picker to grab this and clone it right here. And now before this all fills in, I'm going to evict some citizens from this home. We can relocate 10 of them. And oh my goodness. Okay, now I'm going to let this building go. And as soon as it's done being constructed, I'm clicking, trying to get people in this new building. And I got 42 in there only. Oh my goodness. I've got to build even more. All right, this is getting really depressing looking. So I think to make it less depressing, I add a different structure right here. Because that'll do the trick for us. Brick flats. And honestly, that doesn't really match the aesthetic. This does, even if it is too a little depressing to look at. Oh my goodness. And of course, I inadvertently got folks to live here very quickly. And now I can't demolish it. It's in the wrong spot. So that's the very best reason to get rid of a building, is you placed it in the wrong spot. Okay, so I guess we are relocating even more citizens. I really screwed up. We've got 73 people still living here, and I'm not sure how to prevent people from moving into our new homes. So I'm going to place a couple more apartments over here. We still, 4% unemployment is wildly low. I kind of want to scale down the size of some of these buildings as we're getting closer to the outskirts though. So let's go for some of these smaller buildings, and I'm going to face them all towards this interior road, because the last thing I want again is a bunch of homes on that arterial. I'm going to pause this though. I've got an idea. So these are 30 residents each. And I'm hoping, I was really hoping that I might be able to prevent people from moving in on the onset. All I could do is pause it quickly. And I've been able to relocate many of them, but not all of them still. Oh my goodness. And these are fairly good spots for these apartments as well, because it's right next to this new tram stop. So very dense. And again, we're going to try to remove these citizens from brick 5. Oh my goodness, finally. And now we can demolish that building that is in the middle of the road. Goodbye and good riddance. You know, and I have a sneaking suspicion that the Soviets didn't all build crooked roads. I'm not sure why I can't seem to figure this out, but all of my roads are the most crooked roads I've ever built in a game. If you guys have any tips on how I could not be that guy, let me know down in the comments, because it is driving me absolutely crazy. But this is that we're making some good improvements here. So 3% unemployment, wild. But we almost have our 20 tons of clothing. And at our factory, we do have a decent number of workers at this point. I think what I'm going to do is try to replace that building that we just got rid of, maybe with a couple of smaller buildings along the coast. And imagine that this is where there are some wealthier individuals living. And maybe we even get a couple of experts living in these. I'm not sure what the experts do yet, but it feels like what we should do. And while we're building those homes, Dunya comes back and says, "Excellent job, comrade. Meeting the clothing production objectives was a remarkable achievement. Our citizens are now well clothed and ready for the future. Your efforts have set the stage for potential export opportunities, showcasing the strength of the Soviet Republic. Let's continue our progress together. Dunya, I'm way ahead of you. We're already exporting. I'm not sure how much we're making, but we're already doing that. We're going to take a look at that in just a minute. And that's actually completed that. So I think what we'll go for next is likely Soviet University. But let's finish off this area and then take a look at our exports, because I am very curious to see if we're losing money still. And that's about all that we can do for now until we add additional shoreline right here. And truthfully, it seems like that one home is going to go in the water, so we'll give them a bit of runway. Maybe we'll go even further. There we go. Respect the topography, my friends. Make your own. So looking at our budget, we are exporting some, we are importing a ton. So, that is part of starting a Soviet Republic. You're going to import a lot of stuff. So let's continue down our objectives and we'll build the Soviet University. Greetings, allow me to introduce myself. I'm Irina, our Soviet Republic's Minister of Propaganda. What? My role is to ensure unwavering government loyalty among our people, spreading the ideals of unity, progress, and dedication to our beloved nation. Comrade, our next objective is to construct the headquarters of the Communist Party. Okay, that is not what I thought the Soviet University was, but that's hilarious. I'm thinking that we need college professors and we're going to be building dorms and stuff, not a Communist Party headquarters. The headquarters of the Communist Party represents the pinnacle of progress of our Soviet Republic. Its success relies on the contributions of highly educated workers who engage in diverse research programs and impart knowledge to nurture future experts. Now, our objective is to have a minimum of 15 highly educated party officials, teachers, working at the headquarters of the Communist Party. Their expertise and guidance will play a critical role in shaping our nation's future. Okay, so we have to build the headquarters of the Communist Party and then get 15 highly educated party officials or teachers working at those headquarters. So I know that I mentioned that we put our university over here, but it feels like the Communist Party would also probably want to have excellent views of the water and maybe even the other communist lands. So we're still going to roll with it, and we'll place that right about here, headquarters of the Communist Party, and it is massive. So cool. The back, you can see there's a road connection. And if we place this correctly, we could really make this conform to the natural landscape nicely. I like that a lot. You can see that with the contour lines, that little area that jets out towards the water really looks nice. And I'm hoping I put this far enough out that I can loop this path around here. I'm not 100% sure, but that's really important because we have our tram connection. And there we go. We've got our headquarters constructed, and immediately this thing is full of party officials. I don't think we're going to have to do much to get this thing filled up. We legitimately had to wait 15 seconds. So, Comrade, having enough party officials in place enables us to undertake crucial research initiatives. I propose prioritizing the party member ranking research as our first step, allowing us to swiftly reward our most loyal party members and inspire others to strive for greater loyalty. So we do get to research things at the Communist Party headquarters, so it's like a university. However, we're researching some pretty strange stuff. And it looks like our available research: fire prevention, air traffic study, tourism analysis, logistics, and then party member ranking. So all of these valuable things, and we're going to do this first. I guess whatever works. Now, while we're researching that, which appears to be moving pretty quickly, I want to think about a bit of decoration up here. And obviously decoration in this game means pedestrian paths. So you better believe we are pedestrian pathing it. We have a new message from Irina. Comrade, in the party headquarters or university window, you can determine the number of highly educated workers assigned to research. Some of these skilled individuals will be engaged in educating future experts, while others can be dedicated to vital research projects. By finding the optimal balance, we can strengthen both our education system and our capacity for innovation, advancing the Soviet Republic towards greatness. So interesting things here. They talk about the party headquarters and the university. So apparently there is a university outside of this thing. And if we go in here, we can adjust this. And yeah, apparently it changes the number of party officials working on the research. The funny thing is, it seems like it's really bouncing around a lot. I'm not overly concerned though. We're really moving quickly on this. I do want to see if we can decorate this at all though. And one thing I've noticed when we went into the Stalin statue last time is that we have things like trees and other monuments. And I just want to see if any of these fit here. Like we've got this small fountain. Can we fit that like right now? Oh, it's too big. Maybe right here. And our research program has finished. Comrade, the next imperative research we must undertake is the establishment of the secret police. With their vigilance, we can effectively monitor citizens' loyalty, allowing us to identify and select the most devoted individuals for key roles like teachers. Without the secret police, our ability to gauge citizens' true loyalty will be limited. Let us move forward with determination to build a stronger and more cohesive Soviet Republic. So we are going to need to build a secret police. But we have to research that first, apparently. And of course, we could be researching cool things like tourism, but we'd rather research the secret police, which is fine. That gives us time to once again build pedestrian paths and decorate, which is reasonably what I want to do anyway. So we'll just keep going. And I'm going to loop this path all the way around. Okay, I really dig that. I think that that's pretty cool. The one thing, I really would love to get some landscaping put down here. And also, this is not symmetrical, so this is going to be dumb. It's not going to go anywhere. Oh, no, I hate that. I hate that so much. We'll do something like that, and then I want to try to place some trees. We don't have a ton of options available to us, but maybe we could plant a spruce tree or something. So I make those very, very small so I can plant them individually. And I'm going to be upfront with you. It feels like this is not working. So it feels like this is very imprecise. And half the time when I attempt to place a tree, it doesn't work. And then sometimes it does, but like just a little off from where I want it to actually work. If you have any experience with this, let me know. Am I just going crazy? Am I not doing it right? What is going on here? Or knowing that there are mods in this game, are there mods I could use to improve the experience of placing down landscaping? Because I'm going to be blunt with you and say that this is pretty bad. But either way, it's not a huge deal. Obviously this is very, very secondary. Particularly in a game like this where I think this is really about resource management and I'm kind of brute forcing decorating into it. And our research is finished once again. Our secret police research is a remarkable achievement, and now we can establish the secret police to safeguard the loyalty and security of our beloved Soviet Republic. So now we have to build the secret police headquarters, and I know that this is probably not where I should be building it, but I feel like we've got this spot up here. And this is actually looks like it's a large-ish building. I wonder how attractive it's going to be. It looks like it might be okay. I kind of want to place this right here, right at the top of our circle. So if you are living in this community, you know there is a ranking of people, and the secret police right at the top. They got an excellent view as well of that island out there. Perfect. And while we're waiting for this to get built, I kind of want to clean this area up. I didn't really have a great vision for this, but I've got a couple of ideas right now. And now they want me to add 3 police vehicles and get 10 agents for this police station, but I've got a couple of things I want to focus on first. Specifically, I've been looking at this Lenin statue thinking that, boy, it just seems like it's facing the wrong direction. As much as I love him staring down all of our citizens and intimidating them, I really think he'd want to look at the fountain and the secret police. So we're going to spin him around and really incorporate him as a part of this parks complex that we're creating right here. So down with Lenin, and now we will restore. There we go. That's not 100% perfect, but I do think that it is considerably better. And it seems like it'd be fitting. You get this Lenin statue facing down the secret police. That seems right. Now, we've got to figure out why we don't have enough agents there. I have a feeling it's once again our unemployment rate. But let's get these vehicles purchased first before we sort through that. And these are the police. So they're going to want vehicles that are very fast. 99 miles per hour top speed. You better believe that's what we're doing. I should have changed the color though. We'll get one blue car and 2 gray cars. And as soon as we finish that, we are told to improve the loyalty of our students and future experts, we must raise the minimum government loyalty threshold for party headquarters employees to at least 50%. This ensures that our teachers exhibit higher loyalty, thus positively influencing the loyalty of those they educate. We must be cautious not to set loyalty values too high, as this could result in no teachers meeting the criteria, leaving students without proper education. Striking the right balance will ensure a well-functioning education system that fosters loyalty amongst the people. This makes me wonder, are there elementary schools and things like that that we're not necessarily placing yet? Maybe that comes next. So for this, we got to click on this building and raise the government loyalty for employees to 50%. Easy enough. Didn't seem to really dissuade anyone who was already there. And I think Arena is about to bid us a fond farewell. Thank you for your attention and dedication throughout this mission. I trust that your knowledge and insights shared will guide you to lead the Soviet Republic towards greatness. If you have any further questions or need a recap, I can talk to her. That's cool. Best of luck in your endeavors, comrade. Best of luck, Arena. Thank you so much. And with that, we have completed Soviet University. So what comes after that is higher education. So this is where we actually have a university. I'm guessing you can see there's a little diploma and a hat right there. So I think we're probably going to save that for the next one, but I do want to build a bit more housing because our unemployment is still stubbornly low at 2%. So I want to build a few more housing units over here and kind of finish out what we started right here. And I have added a ton of new housing, but even with this, our unemployment is still incredibly low. I decided to build some smaller, even more high quality housing, imagining that this might be a place where some of those communist leaders end up living. It looks like this house is having problems though. I'm gonna replace this one. And boy, oh boy, my fence game is bad, but you can see what I was trying to do, really create an exclusive area. They've got tennis courts, they've got fences, and you know, it would be a place that I would assume communist leaders would love to be. And with that, I think we're going to leave it here. And I really hope that you've enjoyed this one. If you did, please hit the like button. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. And I really want to thank you for your time today and for requesting that I continue this series. If you want to see it continue, please let me know down in the comments because this is something that came to be because of your requests. Once again, thank you so much for joining me today, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.